to believe that our God has diversity in his unity, that he is Father, Son, and Spirit. It is why the Trinity, in fact, is theologically necessary. When we think of the Trinity, Father, Son, and Spirit, when we think of God as the maximally greatest being, as some philosophers like to coin it, that's just a fancy way of saying, if God is great, and when we mean great, we mean the greatest possible thing that you can even imagine. That being must include love. If that being needs something outside of himself to improve his nature, to love something, that being cannot be described as God. But we don't have that problem in the Trinity, because the Trinity is self-sufficient in love. The reason why we can stand on the scriptures in 1 John as God is love, because God is relational in his very nature. Let's look at a comparison to really drive this point home. Consider Islam and Islamic views of God, Allah. And Abdu Murray uses this example as well. Muslims would say that the Trinity is way too complicated to understand. Allah, our understanding, is easy. God is one. He's not 3 in 1. God is one. He's easy to understand. The problem with that is, if God is to love something, he needs something beyond himself if God is just one. And that's the problem with the Muslim view of God. If God needed to create man in order to love, remember, if God is one in the strictest sense, God is not able to love himself in that some weird way. If you're one thing, you can't love yourself. You naturally need something beyond yourself, external from yourself, to love something. Me as a single person, I wasn't able to love myself, but when I have my wife, I am able to love her. I'm able to love my friends. When I was single, I'm able to love my children now that I have children. You have to love something or someone else. God, if he is one in the strictest sense in his person, he can't physically, he can't love another person. God, in the Muslim view of God, had to create man in order to love. But if God has to create something beyond himself that is external to his very nature in order to love, he's improving his very being by creating something. But if God has to create something to improve himself to love, he can't have been God in the first place. And we ultimately don't see that in the Trinity. And that's why, if God is to be love, if God is to be the greatest possible being, he must be love. But to be love, he must be innately relational. And in order for him to be innately relational, he must be more than just one in his presence. He's still one in his what, but in his who, in his personhood, he must be more than that in order to be love, to exercise relationally that perfect, beautiful being, which is love. That is what God is. That is who God is. And who God is love, is actually played out practically in a way that the Father loves the Son and the Father loves the Spirit. The Spirit loves the Father and the Spirit loves the Son, and the Son loves the Father and the Son loves the Spirit. God has been in love for all eternity, and therefore he is the greatest possible being, and therefore it is theologically necessary for our God to be relational, to be diverse in his unity.